welcome to Let Them Run. Fred, guess what? We got boots on the ground in Saratoga. We got our guy Alex Viola here. We got boots on the ground, and
I hope the rain boots, Alex.
We already got breaking news here. Alex, some races are getting canceled, huh?
Races are getting canceled. Honestly, I'm not too sure why. I think the track is in still decent condition besides the slop itself, but we're looking at a couple canceled races here, but I think the Belmont should still be a go.
What races did they cancel, Alex?
They just canceled the fourth race. Again, I'm not too sure why. I got to do more research on it, but from my guess, it has to do something with the weather.
And race 12, I'm on the site right now, on the entry site. Race 12, it says racing canceled. That is the race before race 13, which is Belmont. So
that was a big turf race. Our guy Tommy T, that's Carson Run. He's part owner of that horse in that race, so that's huge.
Yeah, wow. It looks like it's going to be a mess there. Race 9, it says racing canceled.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a turf race, maybe as well. Maybe they're taking everything off the turf there. Race 14 is still go.
Jeez.
So, but yeah, welcome, Alex. Our show is called Let Them Run. Alex is up there in Saratoga. I know you used to live up there. And wow. I was telling Alex the other day about how we used to go up there and hang out at the Airbnbs, like remember at the house where we had the backyard.
Well, we stayed on Jefferson Street, right across from the Standardbred track, the casino, Jefferson Street, right across the street. We had a big house there.
Remember the second time I went up, we stayed at the other guy's house. Remember, because we had the fire pit and everybody was smashing all the glasses. They never had any glasses left when they came back after the house. They're all.
We also didn't get our deposit back either, so that was a problem.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate. I mean, we were out hitting the town last night. Got up here around 9:30, and the people were out and about for sure. So this is a big weekend in Saratoga, second year for the Belmont here, and it definitely draws a certain amount of a crowd attendance here.
Absolutely, hey, love Saratoga.
We're going to start off here with the Belmont, and then we'll let you go because I know you're up there. Everybody, look, I think in the lead up to it, everybody was talking about this being a 2-horse race between sovereignty and journalism, and now, when you look at it, it's obviously we if you read Sports Talk Florida, Freddie likes Beza, and when you're talking horses, the Time Form USA, all these Beza. I know Alex, you've mentioned Beza a lot. I mean, what's your thoughts on this race?
Absolutely, Sean. Listen. There's no doubt about it. It's a heavyweight matchup between sovereignty and journalism today. Obviously, there's two favorites, and it's very, very similar track conditions as the Kentucky Derby. A little sloppy, right? A little rainy. But, yeah, like you said, Beza, he's coming in. These two horses with the heavyweight matchup, those odds, you're not going to be making any money with them. So you got to absolutely tag in a third horse in this instance, and I think Beza is the go-to guy here. Very similar to the Kentucky Derby, like I said. Flavian Pratt on Beza is a great jockey. He does very well with him. He has experience with him. Now, by any means, I'm just getting started out in the horse world, so my handicapping is up to par, but not too up to par. So I like those three horses mixed in together, but I'm definitely taking Sovereignty straight up, I think.
You're going to take Sovereignty straight up on your key horse is going to be Sovereignty.
Absolutely, Fred. I'm going all in on Sovereignty. I had him in the Derby. I loved him all week riding up to that race. I loved him all week riding up to this race. He was injured, obviously. We all know this, but, he's had a few weeks to rest. I had some good intel saying that his practice runs were really looking good this week. And I think, this is a longer race compared to the Kentucky Derby. And I think if the Derby was a little bit longer, he would have blew out journalism even more. So definitely taking Sovereignty here straight up, mixing in journalism and Beza for probably a trifecta and exacta box.
And right now, Fred, just looking at the sheet, the entries, they have Sovereignty listed as 4-1.
Yeah,
be the third favorite now behind Beza, and journalism at 6. Journalism right now at 6-5.
Yep.
So what's Beza?
Beza 7-2. So Sovereignty at 4-1. all of a sudden the morning line 2-1. Now you're starting to look, hey, now there's a little bit of you get a little bit more value, on
Big time over
Sovereignty.
there. Yeah, that's beautiful.
$10 horse there if it wins. So, Fred, I know, just looking at Sports Talk Florida, you liked Beza as well here and Sovereignty Journalism Beza. Can you see any other horse kind of jumping up here and contending?
Well, I find, well, as you know, Sean and Alex, if you ever watch any of what we've done, I love speed. I'm all about speeds. Pace makes the race, etc. I think Rodriguez has a chance. If this Crudo doesn't run with him or Crudo gets a bad break, Mike Smith's only going to do one thing with that horse Rodriguez and take him to the front. He has. They're the two early speed horses in this race based on what I've looked at. And I think, if you want to put another horse into your exacta, I can't see him winning. He could win if he gets a lonely lead. And Mike Smith, Hall of Fame jockey, he knows Big Money Mike. He doesn't have that nickname by accident. So I think he might have a chance. We'll see how it goes again. The sloppy track. Baeza raced on a sloppy track. All these horses have experience on sloppy tracks. Rodriguez has a chance, I think. I don't think he's, I'm not sure if he's got a good chance to win, but he's certainly going to set the pace. And again, if Crudo, I think he's the 8 horse. No, 5 horse. Sorry, the 5 horse. If he doesn't get a clean break, he's a little more classy. Rodriguez a little more classy than Crudo, but Crudo's trained by Todd Pletcher, so that's a plus. But here's kind of an interesting fact, and I do my Florida Sports Talk article on Monday or Tuesday, and I do all my handicap with no odds. I don't know what the odds are. Last week we had a race where I loved a horse at 12-1 as our top pick in the last race at Gulfstream Park, which is where we do most of my handicapping for the show, for let him run and for Florida Sports Talk. And the horse went off at 7-1 and won. So I don't know the odds, but when I'm looking at this race, Baez is interesting because his broodmare Puka also was the broodmare for Dornick and also the broodmare for Mays. Same mother, different fathers. And this horse, Baez is connected to those horses as a half brother, so to speak. So got some good quality, genes, so to speak. So, and a lot of people as the week went on were liking Baez because of his running style. Brisnat, which I look at a lot, has different ways they rate horses' running style. The 5 and the 3, Rodriguez and Crudo, they're ease, the early pace. That's all they want to do. Boom, boom, boom. They want to go to the front. That's all they do. There's a couple stalkers in here, of course. Sovereignty, Hill Road are stalkers. They're going to come up from the back. Journalism is listed as a presser, meaning he's not going to be in the lead. He'll be pressing him, but not way up front. And those are the things that make a difference. But Baez is the only horse that's rated as what they call an EP, like early impresser, and it gets a 5 out of 8, which means it's even more important. He's going to be up front, but doesn't need the lead. He's going to be pressing, my opinion, he's going to be pressing those 2 horses up front, the number 3 and the number 5, and be right there with him and hopefully get a chance to run him down at the end. And I'm not sure if that's going to leave enough time for Sovereignty or Journalism to get there, but who knows? Those are great horses. Alex, you made a great point. That horse is looking good. The intel you got says he's ready to go. So that's kind of how I break the race down. But hey, I wish good luck to whatever our picks are, and it's going to be a great race to watch. It's sad to hear all these races are being taken off there. I'll be going up there in July. What's one of your favorite places up there, Alex? Where you like to go when it's all over?
100%, Fred. Our go-to place is Bailey's. It's a nice little bar right downtown. We called that HQ back in the day when I was living up here. So we always headed out to Bailey's. That was our go-to. We love the environment there. But Fred, I wanted to take a step back on what you said about Rodriguez and that 5 horse, right? They're speed horses. And, in the slop, right, if a horse comes out fast, they usually stay fast in the slop. So I think that's a great take by you, Fred. I don't mind that at all. It's just really, difficult to handicap a race like this with these 2 heavy hitters, Journalism, Sovereignty.
Absolutely.
So I think between Rodriguez and that 5 horse, like you mentioned, if they get a good start out of the gate with those post positions, they could really make a good jump on this and maybe even make history with this Belmont race.
I agree. We're going to see what happens, and I think it's going to be a good race to watch, regardless of who wins. It is exciting. And again, it's just unfortunate all these races are being taken off, but they got to protect the safety of the horses. Obviously, that's what we're doing. My guy, Tommy T, who's up in Saratoga, who is a part ownership with the West Point Stables on that horse, Carson Run, big horse, good horse. He was concerned this morning when he was at the track, saying he was hoping that they wouldn't run because he thought the turf was so below yielding soft that it could be dangerous. And he was happy. He just texted me a little while ago and he told me that the race was canceled because just concerned about the safety of a horse, obviously.
Absolutely, Fred. And I think that's something that they really do look into. Saratoga is really big on protecting the horses. So that those turf tracks, man, I don't really think there's going to be a lot of races coming off those today. But the dirt's a go for sure. The Belmont's going to be a great race, like you said. It's going to be, a great time for me up here today. The rain definitely slowed down a little bit outside that I'm looking at. So hopefully the maintenance crew can get out there and take care of that dirt for this upcoming race. But again, like I said, very similar to that Kentucky Derby race. I think it's going to be, something special that we're going to see today. And again, I'm all over that Sovereignty horse, right? He did me good back in the Kentucky Derby race. Why wouldn't I go back to him, right? He's fresh.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Don't look a gift horse. Just bet him.
Absolutely, Fred. But yeah, man, there's a lot to look at in terms of handicapping this type of race. So I was staring at it all week. It's a hard race to bet on with those two heavy hitters, but I feel pretty confident about Sovereignty. And then obviously following up with Journalism and Bieza, mixing them up, those three together, I think is going to be a good money maker for sure.
Absolutely. All right.
We'll let you go so you can go out and hang out in the town there and let us know how it was. But listen, anytime you want to come on, we're on Thursday nights and every Saturday. So just let us know. We'll get you on. So.
Yeah, absolutely, fellas. Thank you again, Sean and Fred. Definitely a pleasure being on here. And you know what they say, let them run, baby. Let them run.
That's right.
All right, Alex, let's meet you, brother. Good luck.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, I'll see you. All right, so that's Alex Viola, works with me over at LB Capital. He used to live up there. Now he lives down here. But we had our company picnic yesterday, and he was back. He was in the car at 5:30, 6 o'clock. On the way up to Saratoga.
So he just got to Saratoga today. Okay.
No, I think he got there last night. I mean,
last night. Okay.
He drives like Tommy Dolan, so I think he was up there pretty quickly.
Drive fast and take chances. That's Tommy Dolan's motto.
So now, now we'll do the late pick 5 here at Gulfstream, starting with race number 7 at 4:14. So these races are all going to be leading up to the Belmont, in the couple hours before that. So you're not just sitting around, because now with all these races, they're getting pulled off.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Going to be a lot of dead time. Yeah, it looks like 3 or 4 races are going to get canceled there.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of dead time. So race 7, 4:14, the not surprising stakes, 1 1/16 mile on turf. We have the 5 and the 6 out, both scratched. Win with Faith and Blue Casanova. Fortunately for you, you looked at a couple of the other horses, and there's including one who's got a little bit of value here at 12-1. I see.
Yeah, it's a nice turf race, a nice little stakes race. It seems like during this meet that Gulfstream Park is running, they've been putting together each Saturday in their late pick 5 a couple of nice 75K stakes races. And the nice thing about Gulfstream Park, Sean, is it's always going to be fast and firm 90% of the time down there, which is nice when you handicap your races. You know that when you go into the race, it's going to be what you expected in terms of your handicapping. But in this race on turf, I'd like the number 8 Classic, of course. He's a morning line 2-1, likely to be the favorite. Not surprised that he is. He's coming out of a grade 1 race, so he's raced with some big company. Trainer Patrick Biancone, whose daughter is a great analyst. I love watching her. She's so funny. Andy Biancone, she's great. Hits at 46%. That's unbelievable. 46%. And when Jockey Ocasio and they team up together, whenever Patrick Biancone asks Ocasio to ride, they hit at 31%. Or I'm sorry, 40%. 40%. You're talking about numbers that are crazy. So I think he also has the right to improve. It's his 3rd time on turf. So I look for that horse. Probably going to get bet down from 2-1 to 8-5 or below, just because of the connections. And again, Biancone being unbelievably hot. But there's a couple contenders, and as you mentioned, Sean, the number 7 lasts a bit longer. This horse has some speed, which again, I'm a big speed favoring kind of guy in this race, which there really isn't a lot of a lot of speed. And this last race was his first try on turf, and he looked really good. Came out of there, looked fast, has some speed, and he's changing over to one of the hotter jockeys and one of the better jockeys down at Gulfstream Park, Morelos. He's a Tampa Bay Invader, so we'll see how he runs. I think he's got a good chance at 12-1. If he stays at 12-1, that's going to be a good value bet to use. And the other horse that's probably going to be the second choice is the number 3, Tank. He's looking for 3 in a row, has some back class to draw on, and I think he can stay with the top choice with one of my favorite jockeys down there, Misil Jaramillo, in the saddle. So that's how we're looking at that. No, quickly, another horse to take a look at, because the scratch of the 5 and the 5 and the 6. The 5 I had listed as an A horse, and he scratched. And that gave me another look at the number 4 horse, Nemo, who is a big closer. This horse has a chance to close into any of the speed, but there isn't much speed, as I said, and that's why I kind of like the 7, because he's got some speed and there isn't a lot in it. So that's how we look at the 7th race at Gulfstream Park.
It's interesting with these races at Gulfstream. You got there's some stakes races like that one in race 9, and then race 8 and race 10, where you got $10,000 claiming races. 5 this race 8 specifically, 443, $10,000 claimer, 5 furlongs on the synthetic.
Not quite the bottom of the barrel, but close. There's a race in here.
I would say race 10 level. I would say race 10 is closer to the $6,200.
That is the bottom.
$6,200 claiming race. I think me and Luke could probably get some money together and buy some of those horses.
Hey, there's still horses. They're still running. They still want to win. But yes,
you still got some horses that are better and maybe better to look at than here. And your top pick here, Ship Cadet, comes from a barn that is red hot.
Yeah. Carlos Davis is a trainer that flies a little bit under the radar, but he's not flying under the radar anymore when he's hitting at 31%. So that's a very strong number. And in addition, as I mentioned when we were talking to Alex about some of the reasons why we looked at the Belmont and why I liked Beza, because of some of the way the Brisnet rates horses, this horse is number 1 prime power. Number 1 prime power has done a lot for me as far as my handicap goes when I'm using Brisnet. And this horse is, also Carlos Davis, 31% first off the claim. He just claimed this horse. And I think this horse has a good chance to go gate to wire with the jockey Morelos pulling the trigger, because he likes speed horses. And I think that horse has got a chance to do that. A couple contenders here, the number 10 High Limit Room. He also has some speed that can be come in from the outside from the attack zone. In my notes for the trip, I said some scratches may help the 10, because a 5 furlong race, you're going to come out of there quickly. The turn's going to come up quickly. Might work a little bit against him, but I think he had a bad trip last out. This trip is a little shorter than, he was 5.5 last out. So with the speed, he might have a chance. A little bit of a price I'd like, Sean, is the number 7, Ready for a Fight. You can never, at your own risk, leave out Safi Joseph Jr. and Edgar Zayas off of your ticket. I'm surprised that a combination of Safi Joseph Jr. and Edgar Zayas is 5-1. This horse is a strong closer. I think a clean break would give him a good chance to at least get up there and possibly close in on the horses at the wire. And this horse is second time in the Safi Joseph barn. So he's had a chance to see what's under the hood and get him ready for this race. So he's got a chance. So there's some good horses in that race. So that's how we're looking at race 8.
Race 9 goes off 5:13. The Martha Washington Stakes, 1 1/16 miles on turf. Obviously a little bit of it, once again, jump up in class from the races in between. The 7 is Scratch, Special Aviator, but see a little bit of a we see like an Ireland horse here. There's a couple Ireland horses in the race. The 3 We See You and number 8 La Cantera shipping over here for turf race. We See You at 6-1 here. A little bit of value, huh?
Yeah, the horse has got some good value in terms of also he knows how to run turf races. He's 3 for 5 at Gulfstream Park. He's 1 for 1 at this distance The jockey, again, who I talk about all the time, I think is a great jockey. Amicio Jaramillo is on board for this Ireland-bred filly. Buyer speed figures moving in the right direction, moving up each time out. The last 3 times after he got claimed out of the Jack Sisterson stable, and now again is with David Fawkes, who's a good trainer. He puts horses where they can win. And again, putting Jaramillo on for the first time is a plus. I mean, he's had some great jockeys on him when he's raced previously at Gulfstream Park in the championship. Meet Paco Lopez, Irad Ortiz, Tyler Gaffalione, David Egan. So this horse got some class. And I think the price of 6 to 1, as I said, surprised me when I do my picks on Monday or Tuesday when I print out the past performances. I don't know the odds. I had this horse as my top pick. I'm thinking that'll be 2 to 1, maybe 3 to 1 at the most. So 6 to 1 is pretty good. The contender is number 4, Starship Impulsive. He is perhaps, the right favorite. He should be the favorite. He's got early speed. Another one who's fond of Gulfstream Park's raced there 5 times, won 3 times. Also 1 for 1 at this distance. So those 2 horses, I think their buyer speed figures. Speed figures are fairly similar. I don't know why one is 8 to 5 and one is 6 to 1. That's just how I look at the race. So that's why I really like the 3 just as well. Another price, not a price horse, but could be a price horse when the odds go off because of all the money going towards probably the 4 horse, is the number 2, Bellavenino. This horse is, again, taking a big drop in class from a grade 3 stakes race into this $75,000 stakes race. Again, jockey Edgar Zayas is on the horse for Safi Joseph Jr. He doesn't put horses in these races to just take a quick ride. He's put this horse into this race to win, and he could probably close in to any of the speed that gets out early in the long race at 1.16 miles. And the horse has been working out very, very steadily for the return after just a short layoff. So definitely leave Safi Joseph and Edgar Zayas, leave any of those horses out at your own risk.
It's amazing. They let 2 Starship horses in, and they're 4 and the 5, Starship Impulsive and Starship Melody.
Right.
That's right. The shortest odds in the field and the longest odds in the field, Starship Impulsive and Starship Melody.
That's interesting. You always catch those good names, Sean. You zone in on those good names. I like that.
Yeah, I look for names sometimes. I just remember Tar Heel Mom won us some money up in
yeah.
and at Parks.
Probably won a lot of Tar Heel fans some money. You know that. Those
right.
hunch bets, Beers on Me, I'll have another. Oh my God. There's just so many horses that are hunch bets that win. And hey, good for them.
Race 10, 543, $6,250 claimer, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, 4-year-olds and upwards. If anyone is watching this and wants to go in and buy one of these horses, they are definitely going to be available. Look, there's a horse. I mean, look, it's a short. It's a low money race, but there's a horse in this that wins all kinds of claiming races, and you talk about it being a single candidate. The morning line 6 to 5 probably won't go off. Maybe at 6 to 5 with the 3 scratches. Austonian, who you had as dropping to the lowest level ever, is out. Litigant.
Yes.
Is out. Oxymore 6 is out, or the 5, sorry, is out. So 2, 3, and 5 routes. So you got 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7 horses. And now your other pit, Austonian. I see on Sports Talk Florida you had liked here. So you mentioned maybe singling Solomon's Gold. I think that probably becomes even stronger thought now at this point, right?
Yeah, I think so. With less horses in the race, 3 less horses, it's a field of 7 now. And again, that horse has got class. He's a claiming machine. He gets claimed every other race. When you get claimed that much, that often, that means somebody's putting money out because they think that's a good horse. And you also have a good jockey on there, a hot young jockey, Chris Elliott, the son of legendary jockey from Philadelphia Park, Stuart Elliott.
Is it Cabin Boy, Chris Elliott?
No, not that Chris Elliott. So, I think 6 to 5. 6 to 5 is definitely going to get bet down quite a bit more once
What's he
this
going to
race.
go up at 3 to 5?
I think so. You know, the only danger about these lowest level claiming races is these horses sometimes can just jump out of nowhere and win. And so, I mean, when I put my pick 5 ticket together for Gulfstream Park in this late pick 5, I'm very likely to single that because I think there's value in the other races. And I also think there's big time value in the last race, which we'll get to. But with the scratch of those 3 horses, I also took a look at, after our top pick, number 8, the number 6, Amor Lejano, Argentinian bred horse who is at 7-2. And I'm kind of rooting for this horse to win, more for the jockey David Baracco, who's looking for his first win in 26 tries. That's pretty awesome when they win. They'll usually show it on TVG. They'll have a camera on the jockey when he's going back to the jockey room. They'll be throwing baby powder and water and all kinds of stuff on him. It's pretty cool. It's like the initiation when you win your first race. And the horse is also not a bad horse. It's not like it's just, hey, it's 20, 7-2 morning line's got a chance to win.
You know what's interesting here with this horse too, just looking at it, the horse was born in 2016, so it's almost 10 years old. You know, a lot of these, you know, Mayhem in the Palace is born in 2021. You know, Solomon Gold 2020, Madness 2021, Rolling On 2020. So this is one of the, I mean, it's an old horse, 9 years old. Yeah. So, but you, like you said, I mean, it's a pretty good horse. So
he's won a lot of races. He's getting his form back since the layoff. I mean, he had a layoff and he came back and ran again in April. That was his first race back. Didn't do too much.
The second race he lost by a nose. The third race, which was the last race, he lost, you know, by about 4 lengths, but he was in second place. And this race going at 6.5 furlongs, that extra half a furlong when he lost by a nose 2 back gives him a little more time to close into the race. So I think, you know, I'm rooting for that horse to win. And the other horse I kind of like, after the scratch of the 2, we lost one of our contenders, is the number 10, Rolling On, 15-1 morning line. He's taking the first time a class drop to the bottom from a $10,000 claiming race. This is the lowest level he's ever raced at. Jaramillo's staying on him. I watched the replay of the last race. I mean, he finished in 10th by 13th. Once the horse was out of the race, Jaramillo did not really move on him or budge him. He has some back speed, and I think that might come in handy from out here. And with Jaramillo on him, I know that that horse is going to be gunning from the time the gates open to get the lead. And if he does get the lead, I think he's got a pretty good chance. And at 15-1, I would certainly use him in some of your exotics and trifecta bets at 15-1. And again, in the claiming 62.5, you know, that's it. And anything can happen. But I still think the number 8. I mean, anything can happen in any race, really, Sean. But the number 8, Solomon's Gold, 6-5, looks like the class of the field. I don't really see that horse losing.
Race 11, 618, $17,000 N2L. What does that mean again? N2L?
Yeah, 9 winners of 2 lifetime. Yep.
Claimer, 1 mile on turf. Look, there's 11 horses in this field, and there is, first of all, I just want to say on the 6th, strength and guidance, Christopher Elliott has been crossed off as the jockey there. So
yeah, Rios. They replaced him with Rios.
Jesus Rios.
Yep.
But look, I mean, you're the horses you have, and first of all, there's a lot of value in this race. I mean, you know, I think it's more spread out. But you know, you look at some long shots here, especially there's one that drops in class with a 44% win rate. You say beware. Another one. Look, you got Zayas on a horse. I mean, where do you go here?
Well, after our top pick went out, one of the contenders that I liked, well, there was 3 that I put together. Stealing Base is the number 8 horse, morning line of 6-1. His odds at post time are definitely going to go down because Zayas gets back on board. This horse has a nice turn of foot in a 1 mile turf race, which is what this is. And he's going to get a good trip from out there with Zayas on him. So I think he's got a good chance to win at 6-1. The number 2 horse is another horse who I really like. And I could not believe that this horse was 15-1 after I picked him out as one of our contenders. He's taken a big class drop as well from $25,000 claiming to this level. That's a big drop. And also, again, super hot trainer. I think Rory Miller, this is the only horse he has in the whole card, not just the pick 5, but I think the whole card. He wins at a 44% rate. I mean, that's insane. Again, up there, Patrick Biancone, 41%. That's big time. And he puts horses where they're going to win. And you know, this horse, I think, has a big chance to win in a race like this. He's dropping in class. This trainer's 40% on turf, 41% on route races. So he's a very good trainer. And certainly that's Captain Obvious statement there with those kind of percentages. And another horse that, again, has some speed that, you know, I think can be an asset here if he gets the lead is the number 4 horse, Bandula. He could be the speed once again, based on some of the races that he's been in. And he's shortening up a little bit from the last couple of times he was in races at 1 mile and 16th. So I think this mile race can suit him well. And of course, our big jockey that I always like to look at is Ismael Jaramillo is on him. And that guy has one thing in mind, and that is speed, get me to the lead. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's a lot of value in that race. And I think when I construct when I construct my pick 5 ticket, I'm going to single, as I said, the horse in the 8th race. I'm sorry. Single the,
Solomon's Gold in the 10th.
Solomon's Gold in the 10th, and
What about
look
Ship
for some
Cadet
value in
the
this
8th?
last race.
Could you single Ship Cadet in the 8th as well, or?
I don't think I'm going to single him because I think there's some other horses in that. Huh?
There's other horses in there.
There's other horses I think can win, and you know, again, I like the 10 High Limit. He has speed from the outside, and number 7 Ready for a Fight. You know, you got Safi Joseph Jr. and Zayas together. You leave them out at your own risk. And I know that in this 10th race, Solomon's Gold probably going to get bet down below 6-5, like you said, Sean, 3-5, something like that, especially with the scratches that were in that race. So I think the value in the races in terms of individual races, if you're doing trifectas and exactas, et cetera, is the 11th race. And certainly I would love to be alive and see the Will Pays at the pick 5.
15 I mean, look, 15 to 1s, 15 to 1, you know, even 6 to 1, 7 to whatever it is. I mean, that's going to pay a little bit of money if you're still alive there and one of those horses come in.
That's what I look for, you know, when you get to the late pick 5. I mean, again, I've had pick 5s that I put together where I singled in the last race and have won because I thought a horse was, you know, just too strong, too good. And that's a risk you take. That's the whole idea of pick 5s is, you know, you got to construct your ticket in a way that you know, you keep it somewhat reasonable in terms of how much you spend, especially, you know, when the pools that are going on down at Gulfstream Park are going to be a little smaller. Now, again, I'm talking about if the races at Saratoga the card was fantastic, Sean. They had a 14 race card set up. I mean, you talk about the pools, and those pick 4s and pick 5s would have been tremendously large and lots of money available to pay out as opposed to Gulfstream Park. Again, not to say anything wrong with that. It's just the pool sizes are so different based on that. And it's a shame that unfortunately Saratoga had to suffer with all that bad weather. And when we get done here, I'm definitely going to reach out to my buddy Tommy T up there in Saratoga and see what's going on for sure. And ask him about how his horse is doing.
It's just been amazing. We talked about it yesterday. I mean, last year from July 1st to November 15th, it rained one day where we are in New Jersey and PA area. And this year it's been basically rains every day.
Yeah.
And it's,
raining here today. Yeah, it's raining here today.
Yeah, it's, drizzling and everything's just really wet and soft all the time. But,
well, again, that's why we said earlier, that's why Gulfstream Park is so great. 90% of the time, it's going to be fast and firm. So when you handicap a fast dirt track and a firm turf track,
there's no, there's a reason they run the Breeders' Cup in Del Mar and
sure.
Need all the time. I mean, the weather.
They ran the Breeders' Cup at Monmouth. Remember,
it rains 5 days a year in San Diego.
2016 they ran the Breeders'. I think it was 2016. Maybe prior to that. I have to look it up.
Right?
They ran it at Monmouth Park and it rained for 2 days. It was terrible. Monmouth Park took a year upgrading everything, painting every railing, adding every touch to make it nice, putting in all kinds of new seats and the whole thing. And it rained both days. It was a shame, but what are you going to do? But hey, that can happen anywhere. But like you said, not likely on the West Coast out there, Santa Anita or Del Mar, or they
Del Mar this year. Yeah, Del Mar Halloween.
What's that?
It's on Halloween, the 31st, October 31st, and November 1st. And next year it'll be at Keeneland.
Wow. Oh, that's going to be wild. Are you kidding me? They're going to have the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar on Halloween Day. Oh boy, I can't wait to see some of the outfits people are going to be wearing there.
The Breeders' Cup in 2027 is going to be at Belmont Park.
Yeah, well, that's what they've been gearing up, this whole renovation, project that they're doing there. I can't wait to see it because, they're not going to leave any stone unturned, knowing that the horse racing industry, we talked about this on another podcast, is starting to turn the corner again. And a venue like Belmont is not putting all that money into establishing a new venue and a beautiful place for horse racing if they don't think it's going to be a big time return on their investment. I think you were right on the money when you mentioned that a couple podcasts ago, Sean.
Yep. All right. So
real quick before we wrap up, just to be sure, because some of our viewers may have come in a little bit later. We had our friend and your friend Alex on here from Saratoga, talked about all the races that are being canceled there. It's crazy. Like I said, when we get done here, I'm going to check it out. But in the Belmont, which is still going to be run, it's going to be a sloppy track, certainly very similar to what happened in the Kentucky Derby. Both Journalism and Sovereignty have run on sloppy tracks before. Most of the horses have run on sloppy tracks. Some have won with good buyer speed figures. But again, I am leaning towards still Beza, the 6 horse with Flavian Pratt. He's the king of stakes races, especially graded 1 stakes races. He's won the Eclipse Award last year for the jockeys, and that was great. But this horse has the right style for this race. I mean, he's a half brother to Maj, one of my favorite horses, and Dornick, one of my favorite horses as well. And that's big. And I think the setup's going to be good. The only horse I think could be a little dangerous. I'm not taking away anything from Alex. He loves Sovereignty. He bet him in the Derby. He said he did really well with that. And I think that bodes well. He's got some intel that he said he's working out great. He looks good. That's a big plus. Another horse I think that's interesting in the Belmont, could be sneaky. It's definitely going to be speedy, is the number 3 horse, Rodriguez, with Mike Smith on him. There's a number 5 horse, Crudo, also a speed horse. But if he can get away clean out of the gate and put a little bit of work in front of the number 5 horse, who might be a little bit less classy than the 3 horse, that could be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I hope if the 1 horse does get out and get a lead like that my horse, the number 6 horse, Beza, is a length or 2 behind him, just staying with him, because that's his style, as we mentioned on Brisnet, early presser, which is a combination of running styles, which is kind of, you don't see very much. And he's the only horse in the Belmont who has that combination early presser style, which could bode very well in there. And we'll keep an eye on his odds as well, Sean.
And we'd be very remiss if I didn't remind everybody that I picked PSG last week on this show at plus.
You did, yes, you did.
Plus 110, and they won 5-0.
Wow.
It was, and it should have been about 8. Most dominant performance ever in a tournament. And tomorrow is the Nations League final. Portugal and Spain. Spain right now is even money, and that would be my play there. If you like money, I would take Spain there. And then next week we got the big tournament here, Club World Cup, coming to New Jersey and Philadelphia.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's a big party, and then obviously next year's the World Cup. So, but it's a good time for sports now. Everyone's it's getting warm and days are longer, and you got all the finals, NHL Stanley Cup finals, both first 2 games, overtime, and hockey and baseball and basketball and everything. So, and horse racing.
Always a little bit of horse racing mixed in there, Sean.
Always. All right, so make sure let's send your tickets in after you win, and show us on social media, follow us on social and YouTube, like and subscribe, all that good stuff, so we can keep going. So We
Great.
will
Thanks,
see
Sean.
you on Thursday night, and good luck today.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Good luck.